Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So as some of you might know, I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro last year in September, and when I was going I really struggled with knowing what to pack. If I was overpacking, underpacking, I wanted to be as prepared as possible. So now that I've done the challenge, I thought that it would be really useful if I filmed everything that I brought with me and give you guys some tips on maybe things that I didn't bring and I wish I had, and things that I did bring and I really didn't need. So if any of you are looking at climbing Kilimanjaro, hopefully this will be really useful, and let's get into it. So first of all, I'll show you the big rucksack that I brought with me. This is the rucksack that I brought with me. If it looks massive, it's because it is literally huge. This is an 85-litre rucksack from Mountain Warehouse, but honestly I don't think you really need one this big. It's more about the weight. So it's got a large pocket inside, and then it's got 2 zips on either side, so I would put things like snacks in here. I also had one of my water bottles in one of the sides, and then it's also got a zip compartment at the bottom. And one really handy thing about this is that it does close off inside, so this section you can have separate. So I used to put my sleeping bag in this one, so it was really easy to get to, and I'd also have my change of shoes in there as well, and then I just put all of my clothes inside. It's also got a zip compartment at the back, so I would put my first aid kit in here and just any more snacks and things like that. So it's just got the normal straps that you use to put it on your shoulders, and then it's also got a waist strap. So every trip might do things a little bit differently, but I didn't realise that I didn't actually have to have a big rucksack. I could have brought a duffel bag, or I could have brought any other kind of bag, as long as it fit inside everything I needed it to. If you're looking into doing this challenge, you might already know this, but the porters actually carry your big bags up. You only carry your day bag, and most of the porters actually carry the stuff on top of their heads. So they'll put 1 or 2 rucksacks into this big bag, put it on top of their head and carry it up. So it doesn't actually need to be a rucksack, because most of them don't wear it on their backs anyway. But each tour group will be given a maximum weight of what their big bag could be. So for us it was 15 kilograms. The weight limits are there for a reason, so whatever your maximum weight is, please make sure not to pack more than that, because it's unsafe for the porters to carry any more than that up the mountain. And honestly, you really don't need the maximum weight allowance. I guarantee your bag will be a lot lighter than that, or at least it should be. If you're packing enough for 15 kilograms, you have definitely overpacked. You're going to be re-wearing a lot of the layers that you've brought. So just keep an eye on that. So this is the small rucksack that I brought with me. This is 30 litres, and this is the one that I was carrying all day when I was walking, and this was also from Mountain Warehouse. I actually can't recommend this rucksack enough. I thought it was amazing. So it's got a few different pockets up the top. I'd put some snacks in here, like a mini first aid kit for if I needed anything on the go, and it's got a little pocket here to keep any bits extra safe. Inside it's got a large compartment, and then at the back it's also got a separate section. So I also used this as my hand luggage on the plane, so I put all of my documents in the back section while I was there to keep them nice and safe. And then while I was walking, I used this back section to put my water bladder in, so I'll go on to that in a minute. But that was one thing that was really handy about this rucksack, is that it had the perfect space for a water bladder. It's actually got a thing on there that says H2O, so you just put the tube that you drink out of, it kind of slips out the back under there, so that you don't have to hang it out of your rucksack, because otherwise things can get wet inside. And then I just put the tube down here, so then when I was walking on my back, it was always really easily accessible for me to have a drink of water. The main thing that I loved about this rucksack is that it's got hip straps, and there's not many 30-litre backpacks that do have good solid hip straps. So these are quite thick ones. They've also got pockets, so you can put in, I think I put in like a couple of snacks so that it was easy to have on the go. It's recommended that your day pack isn't more than 6 to 7 kilograms a day, and the majority of this weight will be made up from your water. So you're meant to be carrying about 4 litres of water with you a day. Even though you're not carrying a lot every day, it still adds up, and when you're walking for 8 to 12 hours a day, you just want to make your life as easy as possible. Having the hip straps, it takes all of the weight off your shoulders. My shoulders didn't hurt at all. It's much easier to walk if you have the weight on your hips. If you've done D&V or anything like that before, then you'll know how important it is to have good hip straps. So you don't have to get this exact rucksack, but whatever one you get for your day pack, make sure that it has got some hip straps that are good. Another really good thing about this bag is that it's got a rain cover already inside. That's one that my big rucksack didn't have, so I needed to bring a separate one. Thankfully, we were really lucky with the weather. It only rained once, so I didn't actually need to use this, but it is really handy to have because going up the mountain, the weather can change in an instant, so you want to make sure that you're covered for all scenarios. I also packed a very small rucksack that I left in the hostel, so I've had this since I was literally in year 7. So I just brought this with me, and I put in some spare clothes, some shampoo and conditioner, just some little bits and pieces, so I had some clean clothes and anything that I needed for when I got back after the trek. And then the last bag that I brought with me was my bum bag, and I cannot tell you how useful this was. Again, I've had this for years. This is just from Boohoo, I'm pretty sure. I got it for a festival in 2016 and I have used it a lot since then. But yeah, it's got 3 zips, which are really handy. So one at the front where I put my money, a big one in the middle, so I would put my AirPods in here, my camera, my phone, lip balm, tissues, hand sanitizer. You can fit a lot in here. And then it's also got a little pocket at the back, which I don't actually think I used, but it's just handy to have a few different ones. So I just kept this strapped to my waist the whole time, and it was so handy, especially for my phone, because obviously I wanted to film a lot of while I was up there and take lots of pictures, so it was a lot more handy having this on my body rather than putting my phone in my bag and having to stop every so often to get it out. Okay, so next I'll move on to clothing. One thing that you're definitely going to want is some base layers, some thermal layers. So I'm pretty sure I brought 2 sets of base layers with me. So I've got this black set, and I think these are from Mountain Warehouse again. Yeah, they are the isotherm ones from Mountain Warehouse. And then I also brought a purple set as well. It gets very, very cold up the mountain and very quickly. I thought that the first kind of 3 days I would be sweating, but absolutely not. While you're actually walking, it's not too bad because you're doing things, you're like warming yourself up. But when you're sleeping, you're definitely going to want some base layers. So I slept in my base layers, and then I also wore one of the pairs on summit night, so I just wore it underneath my other clothes. So you're definitely going to want some good base layers. I also brought a mix of short sleeve and long sleeve tops, so I brought 3 short sleeve tops with me. Luckily I did already have these from when I did D&V, so these are just from Carrymore. So I had 2 Carrymore ones, and then I brought this one from Mountain Warehouse. You probably could get away with just bringing 2 short sleeve tops, to be honest. I think I did wear all of these. So these were the long sleeve ones that I brought with me. I think I might have only brought 2 long sleeve ones. So if I was doing it again, I'd probably swap it around and bring 2 short sleeve and 3 long sleeve. So again, these are just from Mountain Warehouse. Basically all of the stuff that I brought is from Mountain Warehouse just because it's easy. You can get everything from there. And also just a note, I don't know if this is something they do all the time, but I just mentioned that I was doing Kilimanjaro as part of a charity challenge, so I was raising money for charity through doing it, and they gave us 10% off, which was really nice. I don't know if that's the case all the time. I think they do have an NHS discount as well, so if you're part of the NHS then you can get discount there. But it might be worth mentioning. If you are doing it for a charity, then just mention it, and you never know. So yeah, I just brought a couple of these with me as well, and these are so comfy, also very lightweight, and they fold up really small. I also brought 3 sports bras with me, and I would say that was the perfect amount. You should also bring a couple of fleeces with you, so I was recommended to bring one thin fleece and then a thicker one. So this was my thin one, and I wanted this one to be an over the head one, so it was just really cozy. I did size up in both of my fleeces as well, so that they were a bit more comfortable to wear and not restricting, because when you're wearing a lot of layers you're going to need more space than you normally would. And then this is the thicker one that I brought. So this one was a zip one because I thought then I can wear multiple things at once. So I think there was one day I even put my thin fleece underneath this with my base layers on. When I tell you it was freezing on summit night, I mean, I'll go into that in more detail in a bit, but it was freezing cold. Now onto the coats that I brought. So I actually went a little bit OTT. I think I was the only person that did this, but I actually brought 2 warm coats with me, and I'm not saying that you need to do this as well, but personally I am glad that I did. So this is the thin down jacket that I brought with me. This is, I think this is from North Face. Yeah, so this is a North Face one, and it's just a thin down jacket. And I personally think down jackets are the way to go. They're a lot more insulating, and this kept me very, very warm. So I wore this every day of the trek other than the first night and summit night. So I actually brought a different jacket with me for summit night, and I brought a ski jacket. I don't have the jacket right here to show you because it is my mum's. I just borrowed it, but I will put a couple of pictures so you can see what it looks like. And it was just a really, really thick ski jacket, but again, it was soft, so it was like a down material inside, and it was the best thing ever on summit night. I was so glad I had it. It had a nice hood that was all like fur lined. It kept me as warm as I could have been in those extreme temperatures. Some people might think it's a bit excessive bringing 2 coats, but because my thin down jacket was so lightweight, I could bring both and it was still within the weight limit. So I don't regret that decision at all, but it's personal preference and everyone will have a different opinion on it. And then of course I brought my waterproof layers. So I have my waterproof coat. This is a North Face one. I've had this since I was about 14 when I was doing D of E, and then I also brought some waterproof trousers with me. I think I did wear the waterproof jacket, but I don't think I actually wore the trousers. But as I mentioned before, the weather can change so quickly, so it is essential that you do bring waterproof layers just in case. And then for layers on the bottom, it was a lot more simple. So I brought with me 2 pairs of sports leggings. Some people brought shorts with them. I thought it was a bit of a waste bringing shorts because the only day that you would want shorts is the first day, but honestly I wasn't even too hot in these. So again, I've had these for years from D of E. They are LA Gear. These have lasted me very, very well. They are inside out at the minute, but they're just plain black leggings, so comfy. I sized up one size in these and they are just amazing. I will still be wearing them in 10 years time, I'm sure. And then I just brought another pair of plain black leggings as well. And then I brought 2 pairs of walking trousers with me. I had never worn walking trousers before and I really wasn't a fan. I was planning that I would probably just be able to wear my sports leggings the whole time, but you will want the extra layers. I also hate that most walking trousers are low rise. I'm just not used to that at all. Everything that I wear is high rise. So I sized up in my walking trousers and I got ones that had a belt so that I could kind of pull them up and wear them a bit more high-waisted. Again, a little bit OTT, you don't really need to do that, but it worked for me and I found them really comfortable. I also would recommend sizing up anyway, because when you do have layers on underneath, you don't want to be restricted with your leg movements. These are Freedom Trail ones, so they came with the belt, which was really handy. These were my kind of cheaper pair of walking trousers. They're quite thin, but they were perfect for when it wasn't super cold. And then I got a pair of slightly nicer walking trousers. So these are Mountain Warehouse. Again, I sized up. They're a little bit thicker, but yeah, these were amazing. And then I also brought waterproof trousers with me. You will want some good quality walking socks. So here are 3 of the pairs that I brought. I did bring more than these, but I brought a couple of really thick ski pairs to go to sleep in because my feet get so cold really easily. And then I just brought some like normal walking socks. So these are the ISO Cool ones. They dry really quickly and your feet will sweat. You're walking a lot, so you want some that are going to dry super quick. These are the best walking socks I've ever brought. I've worn these for absolutely years. What brand are they? They're the Wigwam ones. Yeah, absolutely amazing. I wish I brought more pairs of these because these are quite thin. Also, one thing that I didn't do that I wish I did was bring a clean pair of socks for every day. So it might sound gross to some of you that I didn't do that, but when I did D of E, we just re-wore our socks. I think I brought 2 pairs of socks for my gold expedition that was like 5 days. But for Kilimanjaro, you are meant to have a clean pair of socks for summit night. I don't know why. It might be for the bacteria or something, but I didn't actually have enough socks to have a clean pair. So if you're going to bring more of anything, bring more socks so you've got a clean pair each day. I'd also recommend slightly thicker ones like this. These are really thin, and I wore 2 pairs of socks on summit night because it was so cold, but the pair that I wore underneath this pair were really thin and they just didn't keep my feet nearly as warm as I wish they had. So wear 2 pairs of quite thick socks on summit night if it's one tip that I give you. Hat and gloves are absolutely essential, or you could also bring one of those ear warmers, just anything that's going to cover your ears to keep your ears warm. And then I brought some ski gloves with me. Honestly, my hands were still cold in these, so I would recommend either bringing 2 pairs of gloves, like a thinner pair that you can fit underneath these, or just get some really good quality ski gloves. I think these are just from Amazon, and they just, for me, they just didn't do the trick. But my hands do get really cold anyway. I've always been like that, so I don't know if it was just me because no one else seemed to be complaining. But, and then another thing I brought with me was this snood. I don't know if that's how you say it, but it's like a neck scarf thing. This again is just from Mountain Warehouse. It's double layered, and this is a fleece material, and this kept me so warm around my face and my neck. I actually pulled this up quite far so it would cover my mouth on summit night as well. So yeah, this was definitely an essential in my books as well. I think this is the last of the clothing items, but you also might want to bring a sun hat. I used this for the first 2 days, I think, until my ears started getting cold, and then I swapped over to the woolly hat. But this just really helps to keep the sun out of your face as well. So you probably don't need to bring both. If you're going to bring one kind of hat, bring the woolly hat. But if you have room for 2, then there's no harm. So I just brought this with me. I do kind of regret bringing this though, because this was my nice hat, and now it's got like sand and mud and stuff ingrained in it. It has been through the wash, but I think the wash just took the colour out of it. Anyway, I'm rambling on. Another thing that I did bring with me that I just remembered I brought was jogging bottoms. I think this was a bit OTT. I don't think you need to bring jogging bottoms, and they took up a lot of space in my rucksack. I don't regret bringing something comfy, because after a long day walking, it's nice to put something kind of clean on. But I kind of wish I brought just a normal pair of leggings maybe instead, or just some thinner joggers, because they just took up way too much space. Next thing I will go on to is talking about shoes. So obviously you're going to need a pair of walking boots, and if it's one thing you're going to invest a lot of money in, it should be these. These are the walking boots that I brought with me. These are actually my nan's. They are incredible, best walking shoes I've ever tried. I do actually have a pair of my own walking boots, but I wore them for D&B and they just really hurt my ankles, so I borrowed my nan's again. So these are the Salomon Gore-Tex trainers. I don't know if that's the brand. It says Salomon on the side just down there, and I absolutely cannot fault these at all. So comfortable. I didn't get blisters once. I've worn them for D&B as well, so I had already worn them in. So yeah, thank you to my nan for lending me these, because I couldn't have done Kili without them basically. And then other shoes that I brought with me, I brought these trainers. So these were just to change into at camp. And then I just brought some sliders with me as well. So I brought both of these with me, but honestly, I would say bring one or the other. If I was going to bring just one, it would definitely be my trainers. I honestly can't actually remember wearing my sliders even once. I think I just wore my trainers the whole time. 1, because it's cold, and 2, because when you're going to the toilets, I don't know if you've ever seen a long drop toilet before. I think my video might get taken down if I include a picture, because it is so disgusting. But go to my TikTok if you do want to see what it looks like. They're disgusting. Like, there's stuff all over the floor, so I just absolutely would not walk into the toilets with just sliders on, because I knew I would get stuff all over my socks. So I wore my trainers the whole time, or even just put my walking boots back on. So I definitely, if I was doing it again, one thing I would not bring is sliders. Next, I'll talk about all of the kind of equipment things that I brought with me. So obviously something that is really important is a sleeping bag. This one is Mountain Warehouse. It is a regular length one, and it says it's 3 out of 4 seasons, and it says the comfort level is down to -17 degrees. Honestly, I wish I got one that was warmer. I don't know if it was that it was super cold when we went, or if I just get super cold. I think it might just be me, to be honest, but I just remember being really cold a couple of nights, even inside my sleeping bag. So if you do get cold easily, maybe think about investing in a really high quality sleeping bag, or maybe bring a sleeping bag liner as well, just to provide that little bit of extra warmth. I don't have this one to show you because I borrowed it from my boyfriend, but definitely bring a water bladder. So you need to have the means of being able to bring 4 litres of water with you. So I had a water bladder that held 2 litres, and this was so useful. I wouldn't have drank a fraction of the water that I did if I didn't have this, because it's so easy just to take a sip while you're walking. And then I also brought these 2 bottles with me as well. So I think these are both a litre. Don't know where the lid's gone for this, but both of them had ways that I could connect them with a carabiner, which was really handy. So I just strapped these to my bag. I had them in the pocket as well, but it's really useful just to clip them just in case they do come out the pockets. I'll do a separate video about kind of tips for going up the mountain, but I really think that one of the reasons I didn't get altitude sickness that bad is because I was drinking a lot of water. I don't drink much water in the UK. Anyone who knows me will know that I have to force myself to drink water. It's just not something that comes naturally, but I knew that up the mountain I was going to have to force myself right from day one. So I was hitting at least 3 litres of water a day, sometimes up to 4 litres, and I genuinely do think that helped massively. Another thing that I don't have to show you, because I also borrowed it from my boyfriend, are dry bags. So these are really useful to put your stuff inside. So I put all of my stuff into packing cubes, and then I put them inside a dry bag, and then I put them inside my rucksack, so there was absolutely no way for any of my stuff to get wet. Also from my boyfriend, I borrowed a sleeping roll mat. So they do actually provide you with these. I wasn't sure if they did or if they didn't. I still brought my own anyway. If you don't already have one, I wouldn't go out and buy one, but if you do have one, there's no harm in bringing it, because it does make it a bit more comfortable, because the mats they give you, some of them are really good, some of them aren't great. So if you have your own as well, it just provides a little bit more comfort, but it's definitely not essential. I briefly just mentioned these, but packing cubes, you've probably heard everyone go on about these, but for good reason. They make packing so much easier. So I would put all of my top half kind of clothes in one, my bottom half clothes in another, and it just made it a lot easier for me to distinguish what I was wearing, what I was picking out. And then I also had one for dirty clothes as well, so it just helps to stay nice and organised. I would definitely bring a couple of carabiners with you. They're just really easy to clip things on the outside of your bags, and a travel towel. So you really don't need a very big one. As you can see, this is tiny from Mountain Warehouse. It actually opens up to be a lot bigger. It's kind of not too far off a full-size towel, but the porters on the tour that we went on anyway, they gave us bowls of water every evening so we could just kind of wash our faces, so it was handy to have this towel afterwards. I don't have this one to show, I don't know where it's gone, but you need to bring a head torch. This is an absolute must. On summit night it is absolutely pitch black, so you definitely need your own head torch. It's also handy to have when you're inside the tent and you're trying to rummage around looking for things when it's dark. 100% bring a good head torch. Without these two items, I don't think I would have slept the whole week. I brought a blow up pillow. Again, I used this on D&B and I just will not go traveling without it now. I'm going to bring it on my trip to Asia next week, and it's just amazing. Folds up really small. The only thing that is a bit of a pain is, especially towards the end of the trip, it can be quite hard blowing it up because obviously the air is a lot thinner up there, so it was a bit of a struggle blowing it up, especially on the last night, but I wouldn't have slept without it, so for me it's a must. And then in here I have an eye mask and some earplugs. So this was just from Amazon. This eye mask is absolutely amazing because I have quite long eyelashes, and any mask I've worn before, I can feel my eyelashes and it's really uncomfortable. So this one's really good because it has like indents where your eyes are, so it's thicker around the outside, so my eyelashes don't touch the fabric, so it just makes it a lot more comfortable. These didn't come as a set, I brought these separately, but I just keep them in this pouch so it stays all together. So I got a pack of 4 earplugs from Amazon, and again, lifesaver. These are amazing. I would also recommend bringing a portable charger with you. So I actually brought with me 3 portable chargers, which was so excessive, and I only used one the whole time. So just bring one, or if there's 2 of you and you're going together, maybe bring 3 between the 2 of you. The only thing that I was using my phone for was taking videos and pictures, so I really didn't drain that much of the battery. I would bring one, but you probably don't need more than that if it's a good one. Hand warmers are another must in my opinion, because it does get really, really cold. So these are from Amazon. They are the air activated ones. They do take a bit of a while to get started, but then they do actually get really warm. So me and my friend Ellie, who I did it with, we used these on summit night. I think we just used all of them on summit night in the end. We were like, we may as well, and it's so cold. So we put them in our sleeping bags to try and keep warm. We had them in our glove, we had them in our pockets, so definitely bring some of these. I also obviously brought my camera with me. As you might have seen, I did vlog my whole experience, so if you've not already seen that, then that is up on my channel. Obviously this is completely optional, but I'm so glad that I brought my camera and I did vlog my experience. I filmed a lot of it on my phone as well, but the pictures and the videos that I did take on my camera, I can definitely tell the quality difference. I also brought my AirPods with me, so these were really, really handy for the flight. But actually a couple of times I did listen to some podcasts while I was on the walk. There was one night we were walking in particular and I was so tired. I was finding it so hard. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to listen to a podcast and it will help keep me motivated. It will keep me awake, and it really did help. So that is a little tip. If you have those, I would bring them. Sunglasses are another must, and not just a cheap rubbish pair of sunglasses. You need a good pair with UV protection because the sun is so strong and you don't want to be damaging your eyes. I brought a Shiwi with me and I didn't use it once, so that is just a little tip. If you're thinking about bringing one, I probably wouldn't bother, to be honest. I also brought cards with me, and again, I didn't use them. I think everyone was just so tired. I think we did play a card game one night, but using someone else's pack, because loads of people brought packs of cards with them, so I wouldn't say it's something that you need to bring. Another absolute essential is a first aid kit, so I'm going to run through everything that I had in my first aid kit and just medication and toiletries in general. So I have taken a lot of these bits out now. A lot of them got used, but I'm just going to list everything that I did bring with me. I might have to get my list up for this because otherwise I'm going to forget. But paracetamol and ibuprofen, these self-explanatory. You are definitely going to want them at some point. Luckily I didn't get headaches too bad, but I did still get them, and I'm glad that I had some medication to get rid of them before it got worse. I brought some Baroccas with me, and I think I only used one or two, so I wouldn't say it's an essential. I brought them more as like a just in case I thought I might need like a bit of energy. I would also recommend bringing some Diurolite or rehydration sachets and some Imodium. Hopefully you won't need any of this stuff, but it's definitely better to bring it so you know you've got it if you do need it, than something happen and you don't have things that you wish you did. I'd always rather be over prepared than under prepared. I also brought throat sweets with me. You might not need them, but when I get really tired and run down, the first thing that happens is I get a really bad sore throat, so I'm definitely glad that I had these. Tie rosettes as well are really good for a sore throat. I brought plasters and blister plasters. Again, luckily I didn't need it, but I'm glad that I had them just in case. Something I didn't bring that I probably should is antiseptic cream, so if you do get any little cuts or anything, then you can use that. I brought water purification tablets with me, but I actually didn't need them because the porters boiled all of our water, so it was all safe to drink. But just have a little talk to the group you're doing it with. They are really cheap off Amazon, so there's no harm in bringing a pack just in case. You'll also need some mosquito spray, so I've got the 50 deep one from, I think I got this from Mountain Warehouse again. You won't get mosquitoes once you reach a certain altitude level, and I think the porters told us when we had reached that level and we didn't need to use it anymore. But for the first day especially, you definitely will want some mosquito spray. There was a couple of boys and their ankles got bitten to death. It looked so painful, so don't make that mistake. We also were recommended to take anti-malaria tablets, so I had the Malarone ones, and luckily I had absolutely no side effects with these. They are expensive, but it's worth it. You definitely don't want to end up catching malaria. I know the risk is still quite low, but you will probably get bitten in the first day or so that you're there. Even with the mosquito spray, it's not completely avoidable. Make sure to bring any personal medication with you, so if you're taking the pill or anything like that. Sun cream is an absolute essential, and factor 50. Even if you tan, I would bring factor 50 because the sun is so strong. You only need a little travel one because you're not going to have much of your skin out. So the only place I put sun cream was my face, but my lips did get so burnt. I did bring a lip balm SPF thing with me, and I applied it every day other than the summit night. The whole of summit day, I think I was just so exhausted I completely forgot. But don't make that mistake, because honestly, if you've watched my vlog, you'll see, but my lips just got destroyed. So definitely make sure you put SPF anywhere that is, you know, like exposed to the sun. Hand sanitizer is an absolute essential as well. When you go to the toilet en route, there's no running water the whole time you're there. Like even when you're going to the toilets at the camp, there's no running water. So the best that you can do is use hand sanitizer. I would recommend bringing a little roll of loo roll with you. The porters do give you some, but it runs out quite quickly and it's just handy. Or just a little pack of tissues, or just something to put in your day pack or your bum bag, so that when you do go to the toilet en route, you've got something that you can use. I brought these Femme Fresh wipes with me because you're not going to be able to have a shower the whole time you're there, so this just helps you feel a little bit fresher. That's as close as you're going to get to having a shower for the whole week. Also remember to bring deodorant, toothbrush, toothpaste, things like that. Hairbrush. I brought some cotton pads and micellar water as well, and then some face wash, so when the porters bring you water in the evening, you can just give your face a little clean. I actually had my hair put in plaits the whole time, so I got my hair done in French plaits at just my local hairdressers, and this was one of the best decisions that I made, because I knew that if I had my hair down, I would just feel so gross. My hair gets really greasy really quickly, so I just had them in really tight French braids, and I kept them like that all week. I slept in them all week, and they didn't look amazing by the end of the week, but it was just so nice to keep it out of my face and I didn't have to worry about it. I think the last kind of section to go through is food and drink, so I'll just run through that quickly as well. The main bulk of food that I brought with me were protein bars, but one mistake that I made was just bringing literally 10 of the same protein bar. I was sick to death of salted caramel protein bars by the end of that week. I definitely do think it's a good snack to bring because you're going to want your energy and you might not be eating that much. I personally struggled quite a lot eating the food because it was so different to what I was used to. Protein bars are a good thing to bring, but don't bring something if you're going to get sick of it. Bring a variety of flavours, I would recommend. I also brought jelly cubes with me, so you know the pack of the jelly that you can use to make actual jelly. So I just brought a couple of packs of that, cut them up before I go because they're quite hard to tear apart, and we were just eating them on the go, and they just give you like a nice little burst of energy. I brought saurine bread with me. This was definitely a good one to bring. They did get squashed really easily, but it doesn't really matter. It still tastes the same and they're quite good to give you energy as well. I also brought with me some nuts and some raisins, so anything dried fruit. Nuts are really good for energy, so I just kind of brought like a big bag of that and then just had a little bit each day. I took this Robinson stuff to flavour my water, but I didn't actually use it. I think I just forgot that it was there, so it's up to you whether you want to bring something like that or not, but personally I thought the water tasted absolutely fine. But in regards to bringing food, I definitely wish that I had more of a variety. So the stuff I've just listed, that was literally all I brought, and other people brought like cereal bars and biscuits and packs of Haribos and stuff like that. I wish I had more of those kinds of things. I wish I had more variety because I was forcing protein bars down me. By day 3 I was forcing them down just because I knew that I needed to have something. Another thing that I brought is my air tag. I put this in my big bag that was going in the hold on the aeroplane because apparently quite a few bags go missing on the flight. There was one girl whose bag went missing on our trip, so I would definitely recommend having one of these if you have got one. It's not a big deal if you don't, but it just helped put my mind at ease that if my bag did go missing, I would know exactly where it was. Important documents to bring with you, so you will need to bring your passport and your visa if you're doing it before you go, or you can do a visa on arrival. and then I would also recommend printing out your insurance just in case anything goes wrong. And then I'll just list what I brought in my hand luggage. So I took this in my day pack for hand luggage, but then I put it all in my small bag and left it at the hostel. So I brought a book with me, I brought my chargers, a travel adapter, money. I can't remember how much money I brought with me. I did buy quite a lot of souvenirs. You can leave a lot of your money at the hostel, but I would recommend bringing a small amount with you so you can buy some souvenirs once you get to the bottom. And then I also brought a clean pair of clothes to change into, some clean underwear, shampoo and conditioner, a neck pillow for the flight, and I think that was everything. So I hope this video has been really useful if any of you are thinking of doing Kilimanjaro. I'm sorry if I rambled on a bit, but I wanted to make sure that I included absolutely everything because I know how stressful it can be trying to pack for a trip like this. It's so different to anything I'd ever done before. If you do have any questions about my experience climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, then please leave them in the comments, and hopefully I'll get around to doing a full-on video all about my experience with tips and tricks and everything like that soon. So yeah, that is everything. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you for another video soon. Bye.